This is good coffee. And you know what? That power slug over there someday is going to be mine. And in order to get that power slug, I'm going to need to level up such a way that I can wear a gas mask. And that's why also for today, we are going to upgrade our project so we can move stuff over and then expand for some more power and then start a steel factory. And then we can see how we can get to the level in order to get that guy. Mind my speaking there for a second. I got 2 comments. One is of JD. He says, great progress so far, JB. Looking forward to the next episodes. Lucky you. It is starting right now. And thank you a lot. Zorlak says, I love how your base is looking. Way better than anything I've made so far. Well, I hope that I can be a little bit of an inspiration for your base to upgrade. And I'm sure that you have made some stuff that I find looking very good. You also say the hub I was referring to is that large starting building that you have built in the tutorial phase of the game. So I was talking about these little crash sites where you can get those hard drives, and I thought these containers were falling off these guys, but apparently it is the little shuttle that goes up into the sky after you upgrade a tier or whatever. So thank you for clearing that up, silly me. And now it is time to first show you what I have been doing. Now let me get this cup of coffee out of the way. It just costs like 1 ticket, and apparently if you lose that thing you just pay another ticket for one of these guys. So first of all, you can see I have added some stuff to the road, like a crosswalk and some arrows, but just a quick long story short, if you're coming from here, it's forbidden to go that way. Might be kind of logic though, and this is basically a roundabout, and you are always allowed to go straight unless it says you cannot go straight, and in this case this arrow shows that you can go that way, and if you need to turn around, that arrow will show you can go onto the roundabout. Just tiny little things. Now I have been finishing off the building, and as you can see I've been adding like this, I have no idea what to call it in English. I'm probably wrong, but I'm gonna call it a overcap. It's probably not what it's called, but you see what I've been doing here. This is like for the rain, you're being protected. I also added like these coupon shop onto the sidewalk because I thought, it looks like a newspaper stand or we can get soda or whatever. And I added this here and tried to paint it green. I have not really an idea what this is supposed to be, but you need to use your fantasy. It's just basically to fill in the sidewalk. Of course, along the way, I will come up with other things that I can do in order to make the sidewalk look nice. And in the future, I would like to download some mods after update 8 because it will break mods. And then I would like to see if I can have like planters, like having like bushes or berries or whatever growing onto the sidewalk. Now I have been fixing the roof on it, and I'm just gonna go around and show you what I've been doing here. I've been thinking, been planning, and it's a lot of fun. Now this rock was here in the way, and I just thought, an accident happened here, and they just flattened out the road here. It's like some special meteor material, and you don't have the resources to break it down for some reason, so just put a barrier down and make the road go around it. Just have to use a little fantasy. Now also you can see I got green railings here and orange railings there. Orange railings means that you have reached the edge of what I call the project, which also basically mean you're gonna go from 2 single lanes up to a combined lane. That is the whole idea behind why certain are green and why certain are like orange. And as you can see, I have been making a start of a bridge up to that place because we can get coal there, we can get cloud team and all that good stuff. And I'm not sure just yet where I'm going and what kind of deal. And we'll show you more in a second. And of course, I made the whole back of the building. I didn't manage to get this thing more like half on half and just sticking out enough from that beam. So I just had to leave it like that. I will learn a lot of these things along the way. So on the inside it's looking like this. I decided to keep the floors out and just place some beams, or else it looks like that there is no support on them. And then up here on this side I've also been making, these walkways. And I solved the issue on the other side with the little gap I had between in by just, you know, placing the floor back. But to be honest, here on the top floor, I didn't do anything just yet. And or you might have seen it already that I placed the hub near the building rather than onto the roof, because, you know, if I need to make like storage areas here, I need to expand another floor, I don't have to remove it again and remove the MAM and all that good stuff. So I was like, just place it there, and then maybe someday, you know, we're going to give it a good spot, and then we can just use that empty spot for another project. Now, of course, I am a guy that likes to do a little roleplay storyline, so from this side, you're not allowed to enter with your vehicle, and to also take care that this side doesn't enter here, I thought, let's just place barriers here, then it's already immediately clear that this is not the entrance, and while they pass by, they see like this sign onto the ground, and they just have to go around. No, you're not going to cooperate for today. So I noticed that these gate doors do not really, you know, are 100%. The same goes sometimes for normal doors, you just walk through it. So as you can see down here, I've been making all of this good stuff red as much as possible, which is actually called Ferrari red, because I've been looking up the hex code of the Ferrari red, and apparently this is the hex code from internet, but you know, why not? And yeah, here I got the MAM system, so I don't have to, you know, keep moving stuff all over the place if I want to have more stories. Now, of course, in these containers there are, you know, the stuff that I actually had in smaller storages, but now bigger, so I could just, you know, dump in more stuff when needed. I still have 2 containers left, because I believe these ones, yep, are all the way, well, almost filled up with stuff. Now, before I'm going to build a spot which I want to have a couple of these basic things, like different rooms where we can just change anything if needed when we got like alternative recipes, there is something that I would like to do very much first. And I have been thinking this down here might be a very good spot for it, since it's near this building. I want to create like, let's say, a bit of a piece of an artwork down here. I got 1, 2, 3, let's say 4 foundations, and then let's make it like 4 by 4. And what I want to do in here is I want to place like these sinks, because everything goes to this building, and when it's full it goes to the sink, right? So I can just create like something like a certain bridge going over here with all kinds of conveyor belts moving up. Now, before I'm going to turn around and show you guys what I have been doing, I have been thinking, and Saturday is my birthday, and I'm like, I need to be fair to myself. I will probably be drinking, so on Sunday there won't be any upload at all, but I'll make sure that this episode is extra filled up, which I'm also going to delay this episode from Wednesday to Thursday. So I got a little bit more time to add a lot more content. Also, I will probably announce it with a separate video onto my channel for also Friday and what will happen with the stream. A lot of stuff and things, and I don't want to talk too much about it. So I'm just going to turn around and show you the new sink building right down here. So it is very simple, very blocky, and the reason why there are no windows down below here is because I'm going to make like a small between-in building which will contain the miner of the sandstone that is laying around here. Now also I have to announce that I have been making a silly mistake with making this building, not keeping in mind that later on I'm going to add like sink somewhere, and that would be handy to have a small spot where the conveyor belts can go out towards another building. So that's why the bridge down here looks a little bit odd if you think about, you know, those windows there and the windows on the bridge. I tried all kinds of stuff and all kinds of things, but you know, I'm just gonna accept it. Like, this is a new building, this is an old building, and this stuff is just built between in someday when this building came here. Now, I had a lot of fun making the inclined pillars, or with other words, I didn't, but at some point I did figure out how I'm going to need to do that into the future. Also, I had one pillar in the middle of this bridge with on both sides inclined pillars, and then I was like, let's see it on distance. Oh, it looks good, it looks good, it looks good. And then I realized while I was walking here that, yeah, the middle pillar was blocking the conveyor belts from, you know, passing by. So then I decided to just remove the one pillar in the middle with the side beams and just add like 4 pillars instead, and then, you know, the conveyor belt can still pass underneath. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to explain to you guys that these pillars here is like a test. I have a kind of a formula, I'm not sure. It just plays like this pillar in the middle of this road and then go 2 up, 2 offside, and then go 2 down, and then put 2 on top. That is the height compared from the road, and it's always the same height. Maybe it makes sense later on. So down here, of course, the sink building. I have 4 sinks in here. I'm not going to connect them all up, but for now there are 4 in here. I got a stairways up in here. This goes all the way up to the top, of course. So down here I got a bit of access to go through this building, and once again this is like, yeah, the proof that I didn't think about the future. It is going to be fine. It's all going to be fine. And of course those conveyor belts come down here. 4 conveyor belts will go down and 4 will go up if need. I'm not even sure if it's needed, but I'm just enjoying this game. And of course I'm going to add 1 more sink, it looks like, down here. Just like that, because I ran out of cable. And just a simple roof over it. Nah, I've been making a horrible mistake again. For some reason at other corners it's just perfect, except for that corner. Well, I might know a way how to fix that, but I'm going to go all the way up to the top. And so I've also been thinking last night while I was laying in bed, like, what am I going to do with this area, and how am I going to put all of the items that are done assembling this building. You know, while this building is here, a lot of the stuff is gonna go at the sides. I thought, you know, let's have a lot of stuff passing through this area. I'm not going to remove the hutches yet. Somewhere in the far future, it is okay for now. Things might turn out a little bit weird, but in the future I'm going to make this spot look very nice. I'm gonna keep this pass through here, and you will see it. You will see it. I got so much plans in mind and so much things that I want to do. It's just absolutely crazy. Now, I've been thinking the first thing that we are definitely going to need to do is have a factory building with a lot of space, which in this case it doesn't matter that we don't fill up all of the space, because I want to do that on purpose, because if in the future I'm going to expand, change things, then it can be done easily without, you know, being in trouble because of lack of space. Now, I have also been thinking what I am going to do. I'm not sure if it's a good idea, bad idea. I will just all figure that out in the future. I would like to have a couple of buildings along this edge with different rooms, different floors, and then one building is going to be for screws, one building for plating, one building for rods, and then I want to make like a corner building up there. I'm going to put all of the iron smelters right in there. And what I might end up doing, now I'm thinking of it, I'm not quite sure if it's going to work out. That is, well, I wanted to say have an underground system, but I don't have too much space, but maybe I have an idea for that. And so on and so on and so on. It is time for another update on what I've been building. And as you can see, this is what I have for right now. So this building over here is definitely a piece of artwork. I really like to just play around with bits and pieces just to see what I can create with it. It is very different from anything else I've seen so far. And I've also created this stairways. Maybe someday, some point, I'm gonna make like a video on how I did certain things. Of course, I've learned some certain things from other YouTubers, but it's also a little bit like, you need to mess around yourself, right? I thought the stairways would look nice, and yes, I am trying to create a little bit like that, I guess, Roman style building slash those buildings you see like in New York City or something. I might need to make like a couple pillars going up to down, and then I would like to create a massive inclined roof over there, and I'm not sure just yet what I'm going to put on top, but that's something for another time. Since I don't have all the bits and pieces just yet, I'll put like a car on there or something silly or something not silly. So this is how it looks on the inside. There is a reason why there is a wall over there, because if I don't have the wall over there, you see the white wall of the other factory near it, and I don't like that. So in here, what I would like to do is create the plating assembly line, and of course if I need more space, I'm going to make at least another floor on here, and that should be really enough. The smelters are not going to be here. The smelters are going to be in the other factory in the other room. And on this way, I'm just creating like little spaces for certain bits and pieces. Now, you might wonder, why is this floor up? Well, I have an idea for how to create like the assembly line from the smelter. I got a ton of space underneath here to have the assembly line from the smelter all the way up here, and then I can just put them through the floor. I thought that's a good idea. And of course, if need, now I'm actually thinking about it, I can create like, this is actually very lucky. I can just create like the elevator conveyor belt, you know, without it being seen in the building itself. And of course, I created this building near it with these type of, I would say, space windows. And what I think I'll end up doing is, I have something in mind, but I'm getting a little bit inspired by that building over there, also having the inclined roof with glass. I think, yeah, there's certain bits and pieces that I still need to unlock, and I'm just gonna take a small little look here. I believe it's these guys, and these are roof pieces, so I'm not sure if you can change them into glass. It's not bad if it's not, but long story short, also when you come in here, it is like have an upper layer and this down layer, and up here is going to be all the rods. Of course, a silly rock there, but whatever. And also I want to have a second floor on this one, just in case. I'm not going to worry about what I'm putting up there. It's all about the lower floor. Now down here I have tons of space in order to put like iron smelters down here. Of course I can put like a little extra down here, because also at some point I just have to see and look at the recipes. If need, I can make like an iron bar assembly line somehow towards the screw factory, because I'm also going to need to make that. And if I need rods, then I'll just send rods that way. I just have to see. I just want to do bit by bit, you know, figuring it all out. And then down here I already made a piece of this, which in this case is going to carry all of the raw resources like raw silver, coal, iron, and that kind of stuff. And I just have to see how and what I'm going to do with it and how I'm going to connect this up. But yeah, this is just amazing. I'm really enjoying myself just building, and then, you know, we will come to the point again when we're gonna go on to adventure, unlock stuff and all that good things. But this is really needed, because I need such an expansion and it cannot really fit in the factory I have right now. I mean, look at that building and look at all the space I'm creating right now for all of the stuff, including the possibility to upgrade. You know, to be real honest, I really like this building right down here at the corner. Now, of course, I'm going to show you around and then quickly move on to building the screw factory. Now, I do have a little bit of a problem though at the site for some whatever reason, and that is that stuff is like glitching through. So I decided just to put a strip over it. I just left it open for you to show, because the weirdest thing is, down there I also have like a floor touching these pillars, the same as here, but for some reason it doesn't want to cooperate, so that is fine. Now also I have these gate doors in here. I want to have like a nice big door. I think it fits in very well. The only thing that's a shame that I cannot colorize them, or I did colorize them and the game needs to be restarted. So let's get in here. Yes, the other one doesn't open, but when you come from here and then slowly walk, both doors opens. So right, in here it is very boring, it's very blank, very concrete-like. But once you come upstairs, it is pretty beautiful. Look at that. Oh wow, yes, a glass roof that letting all of the sun into the building. Very neat, right? I am loving this building a lot. Now, I have been saying that the building near here would have like a inclined roof, just like that over there. In the end, I decided to not do that because of this incline, and it looked a bit weird. And then once again, maybe in the future this building will be higher. I think it's just a very nice idea that I can expand building. Now, of course, this one I cannot expand, so I'm going to need to cram stuff in very well. But to be honest, I don't think I'm going to need to expand it for too much, because, you know, by the time we're really going to need more and more and more, I have a factory elsewhere or a project like this elsewhere Here's the quick indoors view. You come in and then you have like these stairways going up. I believe I have 3 floors up here with some space like that, then, you know, for expansion. Now, of course, in the side of this factory, I kept it simple. I did add the glass roof idea of the factory that I have right now, and I think, you know, it looks nice as it looks, right? You don't see too much of it, but it's just for the idea here. Once you're on a truck, your view is also a lot higher. And this down here is just perfect. I just love it. It looks simple, it looks futuristic, and it just works. And yeah, I can't wait to just start filling in the blank. It is once again the next day for me. It is early morning and I'm very much in the mood to do some more fun stuff. Now this episode will be online for today, which is a day later. Yesterday I uploaded a video to my channel explaining all about why the uploads for the upcoming week is a little bit different. But long story short, it all has something to do with my birthday. Sunday there will be no Satisfactory. That's why this episode I have spent extra time to it, which in the end is actually not a bad thing, because if it would not be my birthday, it might have been a couple of episodes for me to place all of these buildings down, so it would take longer before we go on to adventure mode again. Now the next building, it might not be practical, it might bling out way too much, and it is probably very much ridiculous. I do have to say this building in front of me is actually my favorite, but let me show you my next ridiculous build. That will be the blue tower right down here. It is pretty much ridiculous, but you know, I'm getting to learn how to play around with these bits and pieces. In this case, I actually wanted the tower to look like a screw or a bolt, better to say, in the first place, by making this outer circle until, I don't know, 3 high, and then make like a roof, and then have an inner circle which will be a lot higher, making it look like a bolt. But I couldn't figure it out, and of course at some point I'm running out of time, so I didn't want to spend too much time on it. But in the end, I have some nice ideas for this building. The only thing that I do want to change is like the last wall over there. The glass wall needs to be changed for a normal wall, because it looks a little bit too weird to have a, you know, the window connect up to the ceiling like that. But my idea down here is to place a couple of screw assemblers, like exactly here, exactly there. You know, you get the deal. And then I want to have all the conveyor belts going through the middle and then going up into the sky to wherever. Because what I'm also going to do is, if I need more assembly lines, I can just build like another floor. I will change like 2 walls or something to make it look logic, and then I connect everything up to the middle. I do need to keep in mind that I'm also going to need to make a conveyor belt towards the machine, so I'm going to need to have a little bit of space between the window and the machine somehow, and then, you know, figure out how I can connect stuff up. But yeah, how did I do this? Well, long story short, you can have like a foundation like this onto a foundation like that. I didn't use this foundation. I actually, you know, removed this one, connected this up here, and then I tried to figure out what angle I needed to have, so I could have like this guy exactly in the middle of, you know, this here. And then I just basically built it out this way a couple, and then I built it this way out a couple, and then I just tried to fill in the foundations. I'm not sure if I can place everything right down as it is right now, or I might need to change here and there foundation. I will also make use of, I wanted to say coloring, but you cannot really color this stuff any other than, you know, I could place like this on here, making myself, you know, giving myself like a marker, like how far I need to place something. So for example, down here, it's like I need to do it like that, and then I can, you know, position these conveyor belts and assembly lines way better. But enough about that. What I would like to do right now, and will be another skip, is I'm going to try to figure out how to put our first assembly line into the town. I am going to need to make use of one conveyor belt for 2 miners, which is 2 miners give like 60 iron ore, and that can go on one conveyor belt of 120. And then first it's gonna go all the way up to there, and then on a lesser pretty way it's gonna go into the area with the hub. Until here it will be pretty, and then from here it's gonna go like a little bit inclined, I'll guess, and then from here on it needs to go out on a pretty way, unless I shouldn't make it myself too hard and maybe just go into the building already. Then in here I'm going to need to put down 4 smelters and then figure out a way how I can put up the rod system at first, which will be done right down here. Alright, meanwhile I was busy taking care of the first assembly line. I actually noticed that I made, I'm not going to say just a ginormous mistake, but I made a mistake which I'm going to need to put everything that is right down there elsewhere. Now the thing here is, this area here is really something that I'm not going to use for a very long while, because I want to use mods for this area. And since mods is something that I am not going to use before update 8 is officially released and the mods has been fixed, so I could just dump it right down here, right? That is not a problem. It's just, you know, moving over stuff. But let me show you what I've done and why it is a problem. It's actually a lot of fun to just, you know, puzzle around. So what I've done for right now is I have been removing partly the first assembly line, right, which is the rod. The rod is the first one I want to start off with, which also basically means that one iron plating is now out of order. There is still one busy with it, so we just get a little bit of that, and it's disconnected. So it's this conveyor belt down here that is no longer operating, and just for now I needed to build, you know, crappy stuff. So this miner here is the first miner that will just, you know, join 60 up in this 120 belt. The other one is for the other miner. Then of course, just for now, because I'm going to need to put this stuff through this area here, which will going to take a long while before it's set straight. So for now it is going right up there. And you know, I like the way how I need to think and puzzle. So I figured out that I'm going to need to go over it. So this conveyor belt is actually the same as the one that comes below this guy, because I want to have like another coal assembly line going towards the coal area. So that's going to be underneath, which is this one is already underneath because the other one will be on top. So then I was like, I need to crush this stuff. So, you know, hop it up and over. I think that's a good idea for now. Then, I have been saying before, it's going to be messy spaghetti up here. From here, it's official, and then unofficial, it goes in there, right? For now, it's not a problem. You know, I made it all look nice in here. For now, I was being busy. Now, I just made some walkways in the first 2 guys, and I was like, oh, cool, we can just connect the power up from the ceiling. You know, it's all fine and nice. And then I just, you know, started to fantasize and think, like, what am I going to do right now? I'm just going to have one right now for the rod, just like I had before. And I was thinking, okay, let's place it up here, no problem. And then I was like, okay, I need to put everything also towards the storage area and then move it all the leftovers toward the sink area. How am I going to do that? Well, I was thinking this middle floor here is going to be the put through floor. So only conveyor belts will go through from, you know, for example, this area, that area, and from up to down and down to up. This is just going to be, you know, like it said, the put through area. The other rod assemblies can be put on top. I don't think I need that much for now anyways. And the same goes for, you know, this stuff. Right down here will be the plating. The plating goes underneath that handy basement thing that I made. Goes up, in, over, and, you know, when it's assembled, it just goes to this pass-through area. And I was like, okay, I can just, you know, put certain things to the ceiling, and I'm thinking of it. I need to be careful with the power. And just put through. So I can put them through on the top. Now I'm thinking of it. I could actually put it through right down there, since a couple of iron mines over there, which is like, I just figured it out. I think I'm just going to let it pass through on the top, and it's going to be like ceiling mounted conveyor belts to put stuff away. I think that's the best thing for now to do, and I'll just they're going to think like maybe I need to put the power like one lower so it's underneath all of the stuff, and then here I'll just figure it out. It's not important for now. A lot of messing around. I just love it. So then I was like, okay, we solved that problem there. And then I'm like, okay, so we have this floor up here, right? And I was like, okay, I'm passing it through on the 4th floor, and the 4th floor will be 1, 2, 3, 4. I just figured out this is the 4th floor, and then I was like, okay, that's not gonna be handy. And then I was also like, okay, this stuff what comes in now is actually the basic stuff that need to be put all the way onto the ground floor. So then I was like, you know, maybe I should just move up the whole hut area to an area which I don't use. So then I can straight away make things look nice, because it's going to be a real mess anyways if I don't do that. You know, which basically means it comes through. I can make an elevator go down. I have so much space down here to, you know, put stuff on the right floor where it already needs to be. Now, real honest though, the only thing that I'm thinking about that I'm going to need to figure out is how on the planet am I going to get the iron ingots up to this building. Because here's also the thing, this is not really a building where I can add like walls to pass through, but now I'm thinking of it, what I could do here all the way in the back is have like, you know, the transportation from the basement through this wall. Or I'm also thinking about it, maybe I could just keep it like ground level, right, where it comes out on, yeah, this side. Continue, and then just, you know, hop up and over this road and then somehow connect into the building. It's going to be a lot of fun to just, you know, puzzle this. Now also one thing, this later on will be actually gone, so I'm also going to keep that in mind. I don't mind to have like one blank wall, one transport wall, another transport wall, and then another blank wall, and just have like a what I like to call a dummy building. There's like nothing really in there, so just to pass through stuff. And then I'm really going to figure out how am I going to do this besides the things that I already explained. So it's not a problem to let everything come to the middle, go up, and then, you know, fantasize where it can go elsewhere. It is also that I'm going to think like, how am I going to import the stuff into the building to all the machines? It is definitely going to be a challenge. I'm not sure how much I can do for today. Alright, so I have got all of the stuff right down here, and after very long thinking, I think I have a solution. The one thing I should also not forget is that this brings 120 right now, which basically means I need to have one in here and one in here, so I'm going to split it up. Then I would have a problem, because this down here, I can never have an input of another 2. Or at least on such a way that it looks nice. So what is the solution? I have one extra mine right down there near the other building, right? Which brings in 60. Then I was thinking, I actually got another assembly line which also brings in 60 from the 2 mines which was near the cave of the spiders. So I am like, if I'm going to make like a between-in dummy building to output some of these iron ingots, all the running, which will be right down here, right? The iron ingots come out, will go over the street, and then it goes into the screw building. Then I was like, okay, what if I take the mine of 60 and the 2 of 30 all the way in the back, and I just let them pass through this area and then put them in right here into the building? I think that would be the best solution for now. Nice, it is finally daytime again. Now I can show you what I've been doing, and to be real honest, this kind of took me almost 2 hours to set up one assembly line, just because of the fact that I needed to keep things in mind if it's about the future, how I'm going to connect other assembly lines and that kind of stuff. But nonetheless, it was actually a lot of fun to do. I really enjoyed myself. So with this thing being connected up, the first assembly line is going to go to the storage and will be split up to the sink, and I'm going to show it all to you. Now I just have one smelter, and this one smelter is bringing out 30 of these iron ingots per minute. Now later on I want to have a lot more, of course, So the first one will start right out here. So these guys coming out of the basement, and there are multiply splitters here. This guy I just placed down because, you know, future planning, and I wanted to see if I could connect things up. And right down here, the first one split up into this rod. So 15 of the 30 are gonna go there, and the other 15 of the 30 are gonna go there. Then both of these have like an output. Now, because this rock, I needed to place this a little further, so it is not that pretty as this one right down here, which comes out perfect. Goes into the merger. Then I got another merger here because, you know, future stuff. I want to have one connected up here. Stuff is going to go up to what I call the pass-through room. There we go. So here's the pass-through room. It goes up in here, and then once again it goes into that room. Things come out here. Then it's gonna go right in there. Plating, screws, and who knows, whatever goes through there. Maybe like concrete someday, some point. Then I already, you know, switched things a little bit. I like this orangey stuff right down here. Then it comes out here. Now I had two options, or gonna go straight, and then on the end of the straight line I'm gonna make use of elevators. But I was like, I don't want to use like elevators everywhere, and I don't think this looks like too bad. Like I think it's, you know, looks kind of nice how it like goes down and, you know, goes into the wall, whatever, right? So then one of the bigger area I really had to think. The rod assembly is gonna go right in here, and then it splits up towards storage and split up toward the sink. Yes, I might make a little bit too much than I actually need, but you know, I need also more stuff to the sink and more stuff there. This game has plenty of iron. This guy's filling up a little bit faster than it used to, so I'm happy with that. Now, of course, the upper one is for the plating that will go right here, and you know, the same story. I had to play around with this stuff for a little bit because of this pillar. That's okay. In the end, I figured it all out. So then it merged here together. Then the screws will merge here together, and then maybe concrete will merge here together. Now, I didn't want to have these guys floating around here, so in order to make this down there, I had to first put a lower foundation in here and then make it onto the lower foundation so I could exactly connect it up. The reason why I didn't use pillars for this is because underneath this guy I'm going to have a conveyor belt, and this game doesn't have pillars, which, you know, like a hole in there for conveyor belts. Maybe something like a mod out there or whatever. So then I had two options. First I was like, okay, let's continue this track all the way up here and damn rock, and then, you know, have this stuff connected up to it. But then I was like, you know, maybe that's just going to be a touchy too much. Maybe not. I am not sure. I know I can have like Mark 3 conveyor belt, but I'm not sure if there's like a Mark 4. But you know, I need to move stuff up, and I want to keep it moving. So I think this basic one here gets his own sink. This guy will get his own sink. On the top floor I will have who knows how many for one sink. And I also do realize, like, the further you go into the ranks and the tiers and whatnot, the slower your production will go, which basically means you can have way more items going on the same conveyor belt. Something like that, because, you know, rotors is like 2 per minute, while rods is like 50 per minute. So there is less traffic, so you can handle a lot more on one conveyor belt. Alright, so once down here, it's gonna go up, and then it's gonna go this way. It then connects up to the first sink. This is going to be the very basic items, and you know, at some point I might make it look a little bit different. And there are so many things that I want to keep in mind for like future builds. Like, this is, you know, this was like a last minute planning to do it like this, but in the future I would do stuff like this way different. But for now I am happy, and you know, I can still connect very easily up this guy, but just going high enough, and you know, first facing it that way and then face it that way. And what I'm also going to do, keeping in mind, like in the future, the thing is, I have space for another conveyor belt above this, and I should, you know, change this and make sure I can have one above, or I'm gonna make use of these wall things, which I also have right down there. I don't have to change this conveyor belt at all. But yeah, here we have our first, you know, sink that is connected up with our first new assembly line, which is just, you know, amazing. I have enjoyed this episode project so much. Now you can imagine if it already takes me 2 hours for this one assembly line because of future planning, you can imagine that doing the steel plates and or the screws is going to take me a very long time, especially the screws though. Like the plates I might be able to do like in an hour or so, but it's still very long. I don't want to get sloppy, I don't want to rush it, I don't want to go, you know, like insane, because I still need to, you know, make this like very pretty in here too. Which, long story short, I hope this also will be good enough for, you know, Sunday, because there is no upload on Sunday because of my birthday. And what I will do if I have a chance is do a little bit of off-camera work. I'm going to take care that I got like the plate factory up and running along with the screw factory up and running, and then next week, once Wednesday, I'm trying to say here, we're just going to continue. Maybe next week Wednesday we're going to go on to adventure and try to, you know, find some more stuff, or I'm going to set up a little where is it at, that cloudium ore assembly line, just a tiny one, so you know I can go further into unlocking stuff, because I'm still not sure how to get the smart splitting system though. And or I'm really going to need to find this compacted steel recipe. So that might be a good idea for next week Wednesday. Let me know down below in the comment section which build of this episode do you like the most. And then I wish you guys a good weekend. Oh boy, this is so terrifying, because going off ladders is not a very good idea. Oh man. Okay, why is that a thing? What happened over there? I don't like ladders. They need to add in like an elevator or something, you know?